Alright, today we're just going to cover the final add-ons on our Stonewood Endurance. As you see, some of the modifications are strategically placed jump pads. Moving on from there, we're going to cover the spawn deathification modification. That is not 100% necessary, but it is 100% fun. Moving on. As you see, it's a basic, simple design that can be extended. And the way you do that is by testing and just waiting for them to spawn, and you can see the exact places that they spawn. If you want to add more traps, like for example, uh, as I was testing earlier today, I seen that there was a little spawn on this island over here. So I kind of feel like I want to add a couple traps, and it works really great because this amplifier does randomly get hit sometimes by out of war games, and this needs to be kind of modified for a war games build if you do a war games. And these modifications are just great, and also some of the other modifications that we're going to be highlighting are, keep in mind, the wall darts and everything have crit, the same things. Like and the new modifications here are basically the wall dynamos that are placed out throughout this build. And yeah, and that's it still held up pretty well for endurances, even if I don't start an endurance with machine harper and or uh, a constructor with an extra durability thing. But moving on to the next little thing. This is the one where they spawn down here in this pit area, and we just I just extended the ceiling electrics out, and there's room for improvement, like always. Like I see there's a couple walls that can have some wall darts placed upon them. I see walls that I forgot to upgrade completely. So yeah, improvements. And this one, the main thing here is they usually die by these wall dynamos of death, is what I call this. And I know it's kind of open, and you have to keep your eye on. If you don't have enough damage, the slingers will come through that. Moving on to the worst amplifier of Stonewood. As you see, these modifications here are the same. Wall dynamos all over the place, wall darts, gas traps, and electrics. I know I didn't cover every single one of these traps in my step-by-steps, which is why I'm gonna just kind of slowly run through this part. This is basically the spawn point, and some of these get destroyed sometimes, some of them don't. But the spawns are sometimes randomly weird, and that little thing right there will just cover the spawn. So yeah, and another spawn that this one gets hit with is the south spawn, and it's pretty bad if the traps get destroyed by the tornado. But as you see, these wall dynamos here hold up pretty well against the husks. I mean, sometimes the propane will get detonated. That's just because I never even bothered to try to place a sound wall. I could have probably placed a sound wall somewhere about there. And as you see, you need to leave a gap there because they do spawn on that roof. So you need to leave a gap in your ceiling electrics, or they'll walk on top of your build. Yeah. And a couple other features, you can use some of the natural landmarks to place some traps on it if you feel the need to do that. So yeah, just a zillion wall darts and spawn electrics and wall dynamos, and yeah, and more wall dynamos here. Like this is the kill box. This, if I want them dead by the time they get to here, assuming it's not already destroyed by the later waves. And that's also mainly because wave 30 is the mist pods, and if you don't destroy those, the mini bosses get to the amplifier, and you kind of have to still kill mini bosses when they get to the amplifier. And this one here works great. Two walls there, and just funnel them into the death trap that I previously just highlighted, and they'll just fall down like that. So, yeah. The next beautiful thing is these little wall dynamos over here. Now you set them up exactly this angle, and the reason why you need to set these wall dynamos here is because sometimes they'll spawn at the top, on the top up there, and they need to fall down, and when they fall down perfectly they get zapped by the wall dynamos. It's beautiful. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. And it's needed, kind of, sort of. It's an annoyance if you don't, and you have to have a gap in the ceiling. They have to mix it. So yeah, wall dynamos all over this amplifier over here. So yeah, I didn't really modify the extra spawn over there. I just added wall dynamos here and there, peppered throughout the build, and of course the wall darts that are also beautiful to just sit there and watch. And as you see, I placed them anywhere that I felt, it's not necessary, like I said, and there's still a spawn there you could add. And this is the main spawn. This is the home base spawn. I saved the best for last. Actually, that's not the best. It's kind of just the same. I didn't really add nothing to home base, so that's why I didn't start with the home base. But moving on, like I said, these jump pads are strategically placed. If you have them correctly, you can quickly get to an amplifier. If you're like, oh no, it's almost destroyed, bam, bam, 2 jump pads in a row, and then boom, you're there. And I really hope my Stonewood helps you. And also, before you go, consider subscribing and hitting that like button, because you become a liking when you do. See you.